Welcome to News Kids Can Use, the show about all the weird, wacky, and straight-up strange stuff that has been making your grown-ups freak out about the news lately. I'm back, and I'm Emmett Rogers.
And I'm Tori Ogawa, and today we have a special guest joining us to talk about salmon and salmon conservation. Let's get into some headlines. Our first headline is Sprinklegate. A bakery in Britain has stopped selling their top-selling item, a donut cookie, and a really famous chocolate cake that they make because they were informed that their sprinkles were illegal. Now, these sprinkles were made in the US and contain a food coloring that is sometimes legal in the UK for some stuff, but sprinkling and sprinkles is not one of them. Now, the baker said that they could use British sprinkles, but they don't taste the same. So he's just going to stop selling those items for now, and hopefully we'll be allowed to use American sprinkles again soon. Our next headline is about Netflix, where their employees have staged a walkout, demanding that the company better supports their transgender and non-binary employees.
Obviously, we support that, but the really bigger story here is that there has been a massive amount of union activity across the country in lots of different sectors. 10,000 John Deere employees have walked off the job, and all of them are demanding better pay, better working conditions, or more rights for their fellow employees. Some of them even are demanding better conditions for future employees because they feel so confident that their jobs are safe right now in this current economy that they are willing to go out on a limb and say, look, we need to make some stuff better before we're willing to do this job anymore. Our last headline fits in with this spooky season. Peter Weller's gravestone went missing 146 years ago, and it just cropped up because, as it turns out, some lady was making fudge on it. It went missing on its way to the cemetery, as I say, 146 years ago, and has been missing ever since, with Peter Weller's grave being unmarked. But recently, they found the gravestone. The family who was making fudge on it gave it back, and it has been replaced in the cemetery, so Peter Weller knows where he's buried, and his ghost knows exactly which stone to haunt.
For today's big deal, we have a special guest, and we are talking about Kitsap Salmon Tours. And today we have Harriet Coho here to talk to us about the Kitsap Salmon Tours and all about salmon. So thank you for being here, Harriet.
Thank you for having me, Tori. I'm very glad to join you.
Our first question is, why are we talking about salmon in November?
Well, here in the Pacific Northwest, November is when the rainy season raises the water level in the creeks high enough for salmon to swim upstream to where they were born. So that way they can spawn or make a nest for fertilized eggs so their life cycle can begin again.
And why are salmon so important anyway?
Well, salmon are considered a keystone species. That means that other species in the ecosystem depend on them for survival. And here, it's not just ocean and forest animals, but humans and even trees that depend on them. For example, after the salmon spawn, they die, but after the animals feast, the decomposing remains provide essential nutrients for trees like our western red cedars.
Ooh, that is fascinating. Now, if people want to watch the salmon run, how do they do that?
Well, to watch the salmon run, people can visit any of the 8 sites throughout Kitsap County that Washington State University has set up as official viewing sites. We'll be having kickoff events Saturday, November 6th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That way our community can view the salmon and engage with salmon docents for bonus information. We'll also have family-friendly activities with librarians at Jarstad Park, Paulsbo's Fish Park, and the Ridgetop Pavilion at Clear Creek Trail.
Are there rules about salmon viewing?
Well, yes, there are. If you're going to join us for our kickoff events, masks are required for all humans. We would like to make sure we keep our germs to ourselves around children and the volunteers through Washington State University Extension. Otherwise, the best guide is to make sure you're respectful. Salmon don't like being yelled at, poked, or harassed by dogs. Who does? We just ask that you respect the salmon, the land, and the people on it, giving them plenty of space.
If people want to hear more from you or more about Kitsap Salmon Tours, where should they go, Harriet?
They can visit kidsapsalmontours.org, and there they will find information on all the viewing sites, events, and videos that will show them good and bad ideas for salmon viewing. And the Kitsap Salmon Report that you can find me on.
Well, thank you for being here, Harriet. We've learned so much about salmon, and we're so excited to go see some salmon run this year.
Thank you, Tori, and thank you, Emin. And thank you all for helping us spread the good word about conservation and protection of this wonderful species we call salmon.
Bye, Harriet.
Bye.
We haven't done mood weather in a while, which is good because my thing has mostly been hectic. Oh my goodness, get all my stuff done in time for whatever is happening next. And then I was on vacation and it was like a lot of stuff going on. But now I'm back and it's fall and it's rainy and my mood is cozy up with a good pair of socks and all of the hot beverages in the world and all the books. My whole mood is I just want to like snuggle into a blanket and be cozy, which I guess isn't really an emotional state, but I would say that my emotional state is pretty contented. Yeah, relaxed, doing all right over here. But I also still want all the hot beverages and cozy socks.
Oh, I would love a blanket and tea and a book right now because my mood is a little like this, which could be exciting for some people, but for me personally, it feels like I am going round and round on a carousel, having the same conversations quite often, doing the same things over and over, and it is a little bit stressful, a little bit dizzying, sometimes exciting, but also after I get off this ride, I just feel a little bit sick. So I've got my little stress orca to relieve some stress, and I hopefully will get to take a break and just calm down and figure out my next steps and get rid of this kind of dizzy, crazy mood that I'm having. Well, that's all for today. So if you have any thoughts about salmon or salmon tours or anything we've talked about, please email us at newskidscanuse@krl.org and we would be happy to hear from you. Thanks for watching News Kids Can Use, the show about all the weird, wacky, and straight up strange things that have been making your grown-ups freak out about the news lately. I'm Tori O'Gowell.
I'm Emin Rogers, and if you try any of that haunted fudge, let us know if your teeth start switching places.